Okay. Welcome, everyone. I call to order this meeting of the Easthampton Planning Board on June 15th. This meeting is being held remotely. In the event that anyone is cut off and we're unable to continue the meeting for technical reasons, our next scheduled meeting will be June 29th. It's Tuesday, 6 p.m. Before I ask, as we typically do, if there's anyone here to speak to anything that's not on the agenda, I would like to just welcome our new planning board member, Daniel, I believe it is, Daniel Hartman. Can I call you Daniel, or is that how you prefer it?
Daniel's fine. I think most people who know me well call me Danny, but it doesn't matter, whatever.
And Danny, I'm James. We're absolutely psyched to have you on board. Exactly. And congratulations.
I'm Chris. Don't know if you met Danny.
Yeah, and Harry is the other board member present here. Okay, and the other piece of information I had to add before I do my typical thing is to inform people that I'm the acting chair tonight. Normally the vice chair, our normal chairman, Jesse Belcher-Tim, is unable to attend tonight. All right, is there anyone here to speak to something that is not on tonight's agenda? I think it's what, star 6 or star 9? Harry.
Yeah, and I'd like to ask if somebody wants to put a conservation restriction on some property if they own, and it's private property, what's the city got to do with it? Anything?
Yes. Would you mind if I answer?
Please.
I just had to research this one, so I can pull up chapter and verse, but actually Mass General Law demands that conservation restrictions, if they're managed by a nonprofit, have to go through an approval process that includes both the Conservation Commission and City Council with an ultimate signature from the mayor. The chapter and verse is something. Hang on. Chapter 184, section 32 of the Mass General Laws. So chapter 184, section 32, and I think I just said it reversed, so let me just confirm that so that I can read. It's still chapter 184, section 32, which mandates that conservation restrictions that are managed by a third-party nonprofit need to still be approved by the Conservation Commission and by the City Council.
All right, so if you're like a homeowner, shall we say, and you have some property and you want to put a conservation restriction on some property, would that be the same thing?
Not necessarily. That statute specifically is if a nonprofit is taking ownership of it. There's always some third party.
Something like a church?
Yeah, in this particular case, the one that I'm looking at right now, Lathrop Retirement, Lathrop Community, they're having Kestrel Land Trust manage their conservation restriction, and that's a conservation nonprofit, so eminently qualified, but that apparently that still needs to be approved by City Council. As far as I know, it's literally just a rubber stamp to just denote that all of these bodies of the city are aware of it. Okay. Like it's called for in Mass General Law, but it doesn't have a procedure denoted in our local ordinances. So it's not like they're coming before those boards for, as far as I understand, a formal decision that involves the same stuff as one of our public hearings.
Is that helpful, Harry?
I guess. It's
Harry,
it's more than I know now than I did. We'll put it that way.
Harry, do you want to, when we're done with this meeting, do you want to shoot me an email and we can talk about this tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'm happy to help with it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay. Anyone else with anything that is not on the agenda tonight? I think it's star 6 or for raising a hand. Curtis, what is the other one?
Star 9.
Star 9. Okay. I don't see anyone, so we'll move ahead. Our first order of business is the planning board minutes. There are 3 sets of minutes from the 11th of May, 18th of May, and the 1st of May. Has everyone had a chance to review these? Chris, you're muted.
Yes, I have, and it's 1st of June as well, was the 3rd set.
Yeah, got it. So let's start off with the May 11th. Are there any alterations or a motion to approve?
I motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 11th.
Comments?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor for approving the May 11th meeting minutes? Harry.
Do a roll call.
Harry,
Aye.
Chris,
I
Danny?
don't know if Danny can. Can Danny? I think Danny has to abstain because
He wasn't there.
Wasn't there? Fair enough. Yeah. But you can put an abstention.
Mhm.
So that leaves May 18th.
I motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 18th as submitted.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor, Harry,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
and Danny will again abstain. And then the June 1st.
I motion to approve the minutes from June 1st.
I'll second that.
Any comments? Okay. All in favor, Harry
Aye.
and Chris.
Aye.
And again, Danny, I'm sorry, your third abstention.
Starting off right.
It's
All right.
easy.
This brings us to our first order of business tonight, which is we have a joint public hearing with Walter Merrick seeking approval under section 12.7 of the Easthampton zoning ordinance in chapter 87, section 3 of the Mass General Laws to amend a 2020 special permit for multifamily housing at the end of Colonial Ave and remove an over mature tree in the public right of way in the properties in an R10. Is the applicant here to talk about this? Or anyone on behalf of the applicant?
Yeah, I see Marek, but you're muted on my end.
Yeah, sorry about that.
There
No
you
problem.
go. Hello.
I also, as a point of order, want to make sure that this is going to be a joint hearing with the tree warden. So I want to make sure that the tree warden has the opportunity to also open her public hearing. I don't know what your procedures are, so.
Sure. Yeah, I didn't know if Walter, you wanted to say anything, but I'm happy to just begin unless you.
Yeah, no, we're fine with the tree. It was a tree warden and power company decision. Or.
Okay. You're fine with its removal, though.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Great. Yeah. So my involvement in today's meeting. Thanks for having me. Also. So basically, as part of this public notification process, so the tree at the Colonial Ave new development. So that's a public shade tree. It's on a city right of way. And according to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 87, Section 3, whenever a public shade tree is removed, it has to have a public tree hearing, unless it's a hazard tree or meets any other of the exemption criteria under the chapter. So at this time, the removal of this tree is necessary for several reasons. And first and foremost, big trees and high voltage power lines don't mix very well together. So essentially a conductor is being placed through the canopy of the tree to connect to a pole and to the development. And so in order to do this, a large, it's a central leader of the tree or a main stem. It's a pretty big one. So that needs to be removed. And so this large trim would adversely affect an already old and declining over mature tree. So that's the biggest reason this tree should be removed. So as far as over mature tree, what does that mean? So in terms of lifespan, a tree reaches a state of being over mature when it is declining in health and depreciating in value. So trees and other means of green infrastructure are unique in that they appreciate over time. You know, as they're growing, they're increasing in their, ecological and economic and social benefits. However, this tree has kind of stopped. It has definitely stopped its growth period, and it is going in the reverse direction. So it's basically no longer serving the community, essentially, because it's in a general state of decline, given its age. It will continue to provide risks, and those are going to outweigh any of the benefits that exist. So that's the biggest reason I'd like to have this tree removed, but it has dropped branches in the past on the right-of-way and also adjacent properties. And lastly, it's a silver maple. So in terms of urban forestry, it's a less than desirable species to have in a right-of-way. And that is because compared to other trees, it just has a higher rate of limb failure or total tree failure, compared to something like a strong oak or even a sugar maple, something like that. So these are pretty much the reasons that I certainly support this removal. And I'd like to ask if anyone has any questions or concerns regarding this.
Thank you for that, Chris.
I just, can I get clarification on which tree we're talking about specifically? Is it the 24-inch, or actually I think it's more than 24-inch. I can't actually
Curtis,
see
do
it
you
in the
have those
drawing.
plans?
I can
So I have the
share it.
original decision.
Or yeah, Chris can share.
Oops, sorry. I believe it was
Um,
72-inch silver maple. It's a real big honking one that's kind of right at the utility pole.
I don't know if you can actually see my screen. I'm not sure if.
I can see the
We
screen.
can't see it. Yeah.
Okay. So this is Colonial Ave. Here's one of the two buildings. Here's the building that's currently being constructed. Is it this tree here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I found. Go ahead.
I drove by it last week just to see what was going on. This is before we actually knew about this coming to the board. I was just wanted to see the status of the project, and I did notice that tree is not in great shape.
Yeah, it's definitely, it has, I mean, structurally, it has some things that are more culturally you never like to see. That's called included bark, which is basically just a structural deficiency, has some cavities in it. As you can see, it's had limb drop. It doesn't overall present currently as such a hazard that we would warrant its immediate removal. But given the size of this tree trimming and just its general state, it's a good opportunity to.
Yeah, and is it impacted by the sewer line, the proposed sewer line that's coming in this way too? Or is it just the power?
It's just the power line.
Okay, that's some really compelling arguments you're making, Warden Greenleaf. I think that given those, it's going to be hard to lean in another direction. But I do want to just talk about condition 2 that was in the special permit that was granted, Mr. Merrick. And that says the 60-foot silver maple in the Colonial Avenue right-of-way shall be adequately protected from root disturbance during construction, and said protection plan shall be completed in consultation with the tree warden prior to the start of any site work. Clearly that's happened because we have clear communication here. And also the wording of it with regard to the roots and all that, for me, this seems like that's all irrelevant. This is the more modern information. I'm really, as a planning board member, I'm leaning personally for this needs to be removed. You know, I know that my other planning board members, I don't want to speak for them directly, but I can say this, historically, we don't like to see trees come down. You know, it's in our nature. I'm hoping, Mr. Merrick, that there's somewhere else in the site that maybe you can put a few new trees up to replace this. That would certainly make me feel better if you had some place on your site to put something new in.
Yeah, I don't see that as a problem.
Okay, I mean, what did you have in mind?
I hadn't given it a lot of thought. I know we had added some trees on the final plans, but you know, I can consult with the tree warden and get some ideas going down the road. But you know, and I'm not exactly sure placement of them at this point. Because again, I don't want to put one too close to the road so we have issues with it, you know, down the road or something.
I would certainly be happy to talk about, good tree species choices for that.
I'm going to, I mean, I think that this needs to happen one way or the other, and I don't want to lock you in, but just, I think, it's a good thing in general to, I don't need to see an additional of a new condition personally that new trees be added, but I think it would be great. And I certainly hope that the intent of the board is understood in that. I'd like to just make sure I hear from Chris and Harry before I open it up to the public to see if anyone else wants to say anything. Harry?
No, I took a ride up there too and checked this out. I checked it out. It's just a huge tree right in the corner, right by the side of the property there. And I seen the lines going through it, It's just a case of the line versus the tree, basically. It's a big, big tree. I think it's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And you can see where some limbs fell off this day.
Is the city responsible to take the tree down?
I've had a silver maple tree in my yard for over 70 years, and it's still there to this day. So
Beautiful.
it isn't like they're a bad tree, but they're it's just
Not at all. I totally agree with you. When they are given sufficient root space and they have a nice big area to grow in, they can be very happy trees.
Chris, you had a question?
Yeah, who's responsible for payment to take this down? Is it the applicant or the city?
So Eversource is going to be removing this tree, and they will be covering
great.
it. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll just say in general, I think the site looks really good. I think you did a very good job screening the existing neighbors from the site. I know that was a big issue with some of the people, and I mean, coming down Plymouth Ave and looking in, you can't even see the work really happening. It's really well done. So thank you for understanding the concerns of the neighborhood and responding to them so well.
All right, Daniel, you want to dip your roots into this one or leave it behind?
Oh my gosh.
Nice. I see what you did there.
Not even normal. That's novel to these hearings.
It is. It's very Owen Zarrett.
I'll come prepared in case, right, for what seems to be the reasonable decision here. Even though I'm a big fan of trees myself, I did like this suggestion though, and appreciate Merrick's willingness to consider planting a tree in kind or two, whatever makes sense. Chris and I know that from civil engineering and dealing with right-of-ways, that's a typical concession. So I think it all seems really good, reasonable, and it seems like everybody agrees. So I have no objections to this.
Okay, perfect. Then I'd like to open it to the public. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to comment on this? Let me know if you see anyone, because I'm not seeing anyone right now.
Hang on, there's definitely
There's a phone here.
there's one other person in this phone call with the area code 413. Can you hear my voice right now?
Yes, I can.
There we go.
Are you here to speak to the tree removal on Colonial Ave?
I'm here to listen and observe.
Okay, totally fine. Didn't mean to put you on the spot then.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So since it looks like there's no one else here to speak to it, at this point, what we're looking to do is to approve an amendment, which is essentially to strike condition 2 from the special permit for Walter Merrick on map 128, parcel 121.
So moved. I'm not going to repeat all that.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Is there, I'm going to put some discussion here before I call the vote on this. And that is that I did sort of indicate that I didn't feel the need to replace it with a condition that multiple new trees need to be planted. That means we don't have any authority in requiring that. We're relying on the goodwill of Mr. Merrick. Is the board comfortable with that?
I am. I think that there's a lot of trees already out there. I would love to see a new tree there. Absolutely. And if there's a place that can be found to put that tree, then by all means, if there's a place behind these homes that you could put a tree, that'd be great. But there already is a lot of foliage out there. So I'll leave it up to the property owner to work with the tree warden. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. In that case, all in favor? Chris?
Aye.
Harry?
Aye.
Daniel?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thank you very much, Mr. Merrick. And Sarah, it's a pleasure to work with you. I hope we have many, many more of these going forward.
Thank you. Likewise.
Yes, indeed. Great meeting you.
All right. Do you need
Thank
to
you very
close
much.
your hearing or just indicate that your hearing is closed?
Yeah, so there are no verbal objections and no written objections. So, this public notification process for non-exempt trees is complete, and Eversource is going to be free to remove this tree. And I'll be in touch with them to let them know they're free to do their work.
Perfect.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Sarah.
Mr. Merrick, do you have any questions?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you very much.
All right. So then moving on, I don't have anything else. Do we have any special announcements?
None. The only thing that I can imagine is that we're having thank you everyone for indicating your availability 2 weeks from today for an atypical meeting on the 29th of June. At that meeting, we're going to have a little bit more iron out what we expect the rules to be for our new meetings in July. Starting July 1, we're going back to a hybridized meeting schedule where there's going to be the opportunity for digital participation, but there's going to be the expectation that applicants and at least a quorum of the board be able to attend in person. I will tell you more as I have it authoritatively.
Basically, we've got to be there. Just roll with that, folks.
Basically, I think it might be the safest outcome for now.
It's fine. I'm looking forward to getting back in person.
Yeah, me too. I think it'll be good.
I also have permission from Jesse to mention that he had a bad mountain bike accident and has been hospitalized since. He is recovering. I bought a little get well card for him, and I wanted to invite members of the board to come and sign it here at City Hall. I'll be in office tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Thursday. And then I was just going to give it to Jeff to get it to him otherwise, because I don't know. Didn't really think out this plan thoroughly, and this is not really maybe a public hearing element. But
No, it's fine.
there,
I
there
think
you
it's
go.
a great idea.
Didn't
We
think
all try
I
to
didn't,
support each
wasn't
other.
thinking about any step here.
We'll always support each other. I'm at work and won't be able to make it down there at that time. Can you please sign Jay-Z on my behalf?
Sure thing.
Thank you.
I'll make a point to get on. So you're working in the office now, Curtis?
Yeah, and on my email, in my email sig line, there's my direct desk extension.
Okay. Yep. Okay, I'll make it down tomorrow.
Yeah, no pressure anyway. And I can coordinate offline with folks, so I'll stop quizzing folks on that one. And other than that, I have no announcements from the.
I have a question. How is the solar ordinance working group coming along? Do you have any update on that?
That's true. I do owe you that. So you're going to get an email tomorrow. On Monday, yesterday, the Conservation Commission identified its members. So it's going to be 2 from the Conservation Commission, 1 from the Energy Commission, 1 from the Planning Board, plus Jamie Webb, Assistant Planner, myself, Assistant Planner, Cassie Traggart, the Conservation Agent. I have a full starting draft worked out based on an extremely abbreviated version of our zoning ordinance, with all just culled down to those sections that hypothetically impinge on solar ordinance, and integrates some of the commentary that we've faced in terms of problems with solar permitting before. For example, they're all in community facilities, which obliges them to be nonprofit, because the definition of community facility is a nonprofit.
Okay.
So stuff like that, that's just weird edge cases. And then there's also trying to integrate the PVBC best practices. And I'll be sharing all of this stuff tomorrow once I get the email addresses of the folks from Conservation Commission.
Do we have a meeting frequency, or is that up to us to decide as a committee?
I'm proposing the
Working group.
first meeting date, which is going to be like an afternoon meeting, like 5 p.m., so maybe evening. And then I'm going to quiz the group as to what they're comfortable with.
Okay.
My personal desire would be every other week, just to keep momentum. But I also, I completely defer to our volunteer members on this one, because you guys are really giving up your free time, and I'm just paid to do it. So.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, good question. All right, I think we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor, Harry,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Daniel,
Aye.
and I am an aye. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
See ya.